Hi everyone, and welcome to your weekly angel reading for January 26th through to February the 1st. I'm going to be going back to using my favourite deck, which is the Angel Tarot cards by Radleigh, Valentine and Doreen this week. So, of course, as always, let's see what they have to say first of all for Monday and Tuesday. Alright, so here we go. 8 of Earth. This hasn't come up for a while. It says skilled work is rewarded. Learning all there is to know about a topic and going back to school. Now, straight off, it's kind of it feels a little light-hearted, but the fairies are saying, yes, we're learning a lot this month. We are going deep within and looking at a lot of different stuff. So this doesn't have to be, literal education. It can absolutely be that. But we're learning a lot about ourselves this month. We are having to dig really deep to look at what is not working and what is working. And we've said this a lot this month in readings, and it feels like it's continuing. But the fairies are also showing me the books in front of this card, and they're saying that they want us to know that this is also, especially with Mercury retrograde, a great time to do research. It is a great time actually to complete projects that we have wanted to do for a while. It's not always a great time to start them, but it is a good time to really look further into the details of things. As I said, it's really about us going deeply into our spaces, our energy, being reflective about things. And sometimes our learning process can be actually quite a quiet time rather than a time of massive action. But this card is actually, I think it's a really great card because it's reminding us that our work is also rewarded. So it doesn't necessarily have to be academic. It can absolutely be that. So if you're working hard and you feel like you're putting a lot of hours in, just trusting that it's all paying off. It's all working out. That you're not, working all the hours God sends for nothing. And we're also not going through this period for nothing. That we are, as I've often said in the last few weeks, I really feel that if we can kind of just get through to mid-February, we're really going to start to see the movement forward, and a lot of the things that we are having to deal with right now are going to start to really feel much lighter. Okay, so as we go into the middle of the week, now this is really interesting again. 8 of Air. Now, the air suit, as I've often said, it can be quite challenging. It can be the suit that people, kind of are afraid of because it feels sometimes a little heavy. It doesn't have to be though. It's a reminder for us that we can keep moving forward, that we don't have to stay stuck in our heads, stuck in the mental side of things. But this is all about an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. So it's really interesting here because, again, this is where our lessons always come from, right? Is how we're treating ourselves, how the beliefs that we have about ourselves are shaping our lives, and perhaps we have this great idea, but we're feeling like, in some ways, for some of us, it could be that we're feeling like we always have to study or learn this one extra thing, or feel like we have to take one extra step before we can really take the big one. Now, this to me feels like when we're dealing with all of this stuff, we can almost feel like it's endless, like we're not going to be able to get out of this phase, and that, we're never going to feel differently because it just goes on, and this is a really deep-seated fear that we have, and blah, blah, blah. And we can tell ourselves all kinds of things. Our ego starts to get really loud because it can feel that we're on this precipice of change. And I always say that when we are actually doing amazing things, when we're about to shine our light even brighter, our fear gets really, really loud. So those of us who are really sensitive and intuitive and highly creative, which most people are, they go hand in hand when we're interested in energy and all of these things, that we can also feel like we also feel so much on the other side of it, and we can trap ourselves, that we can be our own worst enemies, if you like, because we have all this creative energy and then we don't know what to do with it because we feel like we're incapable, or everyone else is going to be better than I am, blah, 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 blah. So just be aware of that in the middle of the week. Just know that it is fears coming up, that you can have compassion for those, but you can say, hey, I'm going to do it anyway, that this may be outside of my comfort zone, this may be bringing up a lot of emotion for me, but I know that I'm safe, and that really what this is saying is that it's your fear, but it's not that it's wrong. Sometimes it can be, okay, we're not supposed to take action. And that can be a kind of difficult balance with Mercury retrograde, because lots of us feel like it's not time to take action. But actually, in the middle of the week, we are reminded that some of it is about reviewing those details and then saying, hey, where is it that I'm getting in my own way? Okay, here we go for the end of the week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, another air card. In fact, it's just the one just before 8 of air, 7 of air. Plans that need revision, more than meets the eye. More going on than meets the eye, excuse me. And it says poor timing. This is really interesting then. So the angels are not saying that this is quite so literal as it's saying on the card, because we were just talking about being afraid to take action, and I do feel that a lot of it is us getting in our own way. But they're saying to make sure that you are reviewing your motives and motives around you, so that you're not responding from that place of fear when you do take the action. So rather than saying, oh yeah, it's I'll just take this action because it's what I'm supposed to do or what I should do, or it's about time, so I'm just going to get on with it. Just making sure that you're really coming from a place of it being the right thing, and that also other people involved, particularly when there's all that challenging energy around communication at this time, just making sure that everyone also around you is acting for the highest good, that there isn't anything too hidden right now. Just really tuning into your heart and making sure that you feel connected to the people that you're working with, that if there are any decisions that you're making, that you feel like you are being supported with those. Of course, the angels, the unicorns support you anyway, but sometimes other people involved can be responding perhaps from a different place, not necessarily wrong or bad, it's just that it may not fit with us. So if you're wanting to cross your T's and dot your I's this week, I would say it's a good time to do so, but also just being really aware of where we can rise above the fear and come from a place of love. So deciding this week whether you're going to let fear rule the school or whatever you call it, or love, and sometimes we have to really consciously make that decision because there's so much energy shifting, and it can be daunting, but it's really also for our highest good, isn't it, when we're coming from our hearts. That doesn't mean that you have to take your brain out of it and be illogical. Our brain is there for a reason. Our mind is also definitely part of how we receive guidance. It's just also knowing, does this actually feel right to me? Is this coming from a place where I know that it's going to make a difference to my life and others' lives? Or am I just feeling like I'm on autopilot right now? So just pay attention to where you might be on that scale and then act accordingly. Okay, so I'm sending you much love. It does feel like we're gonna be kind of choosing the high road this week if we can, and by that I mean choosing what we know to be true in our hearts and letting the other details take care of themselves when we do that, rather than feeling like we have to be so stuck in our heads. I'm sending you much love. Of course, if you want to connect with me more personally, you can do so on the website here below or on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Anna Taylor Music Angel. For those of you in the UK or wanting to come to the UK, it is the last few days this week of the early bird rate for my Certified Angelic Connection Practitioner course on March 21st and 22nd. So the price will go up from the 30th of January. So if you've been thinking about it, if you've been reading about it, this is the time to do it, because I would like to see as many of you there as guided, and we're going to have a great time. So please come along if you would like to do so, and you can always email me if you have questions. I'm sending you many blessings for this beautiful week. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.